1988, the teams of the National Football League began their journey on the road to the Super Bowl.
Bright and sunny at Tampa Stadium. Game has been sold out.
Welcome to Candlestick Park in San Francisco.
It'll be a game of great emotion, great intensity. And I think last week...
It's cold here today. You'll hear our teeth chatter more. The turnovers will be the key to the football game.
On this journey, mere talent would not be enough. For this was a marathon where stamina and courage would separate the true champion from the rest of the field.
And well received.
We can close the coffin on these suckers right now, okay? Get your man.
Right now it's time to take a step forward. Let's get a hat on him every play. Let's get this thing started. We got to put something together back to back. Now let's go.
Right now, let's go, Sam! If you guys got anything left, man, right here, this is where you go after them.
Back to throw on fourth down. Into the end zone. It's a touchdown. An unbelievable catch.
Going to the end zone. Got Monk in the backside. Diving catch. Touchdown. Washington Redskins.
He's going long. He's going for everything. Unbelievable.
Steps up, walks, throws. Flutie there. Got it. Firing. End zone. Great catch for a touchdown.
A bullet for Merton in the end zone. A diving catch and a touchdown. The play of the day.
Montana on third down. Back to throw. They rush. He steps up. He throws. Has Rice open. He makes the catch. He gets away to the 40. It's a foot race. 30. They won't catch him. It's touchdown 49ers.
Ultimately, only one team would seize the prize sought by so many.
The San Francisco 49ers are heading to Miami.
On January 22nd, the San Francisco 49ers marched the length of the field in the final minutes to win the most thrilling Super Bowl ever played. For the third time in the last 8 years, the city by the Golden Gate had a world champion.
Back to throw Montana. Steps up, throws. Touchdown!
While the 49ers belonged to San Francisco, the 1980s belonged to the 49ers. Like any city, San Francisco has its share of historic landmarks. Some are built from stone and brick, having stood the test of time, the whim of fashion, and the threat of earthquake. Others chug up the city's 14 hills, now and always an enduring Bay Area symbol. But another town treasure is made not of mortar or steel, but flesh and blood. For the past decade, the San Francisco 49ers have been pro football's living monument to artistry, flair, power, and success.
When Bill Walsh was hired and we started our development program of the 80s, all that I really strived for was to be a perennially competitive football team. And I think that we have proven that that's the type of organization we are and that's the type of team we've been in the 80s.
We have won 2 World Championships in this decade and won our division any number of times. So I think we're sustaining our success as well as anybody. Everybody's in sync in the entire organization and on our squad. Our coaches, our players, everyone's communicating, everyone has confidence and believes in each other.
We're going on 11 years that Bill Walsh has been with the 49ers and with me. I think we've developed an extremely good relationship, both on and off the field. Bill, in turn, has developed that relationship with our front office personnel and also through his coaching staff to the players.
The character of the team would be sorely tested in the very first week of the '88 season by the opponent many had picked to dethrone the 49ers in the NFC West. In a fiercely fought battle in Bayou Country, the arch-rival New Orleans Saints bolted to a 17-10 halftime lead. But visions of a Bourbon Street celebration quickly faded, thanks to a far more menacing sight. San Francisco nose tackle supreme Michael Carter, number 95. Carter earned NFL Defensive Player of the Week honors with 6 tackles, 2 sacks, a forced fumble, and a critical interception. While Carter and company were busy shackling the Saints, 49ers quarterback Joe Montana revved up a third-period passing explosion.
Rasmus alone back behind Montana. Back to throw. Steps up for the end zone. Touchdown, 49ers to Mike Wilson. Montana goes back to throw. He looks. He throws. Over the middle. Touchdown, 49ers, John Frank.
During an 8-minute stretch, Montana struck for 3 touchdown passes, including 2 scores to tight end John Frank, putting San Francisco ahead to stay.
Good work, Randy.
Good job. Great job, Joe.
Good job.
Good job.
A late field goal from first-year kicker Mike Kofer sealed the important road victory over dangerous New Orleans. After the game, Niner coach Bill Walsh proved to be a gracious winner, but a poor prognosticator.
All in all, I'd have to say we're really pleased, and we played one of the best teams in the NFL, and we give them full credit, and they're going to be a real factor this year in the playoffs. There's no question about it. They could be the Super Bowl team. They're that good.
The Niners next traveled to the New Jersey Meadowlands, site of 2 previous playoff defeats at the hands of the Giants. With less than a minute to play, wide receiver Lionel Manuel scored to give New York a 17-13 lead. And another 49ers loss in the Big Apple seemed likely. But on 3rd and long, San Francisco came up with the most dramatic score of the young NFL season. In a relief role, quarterback Joe Montana fired his best pitch. Wide receiver Jerry Rice was there to grab it, and the course of a season was altered in one astonishing moment.
Third down. Montana to throw. Throws long for Rice down the sideline. He's gone to 30, to 20, to 10. Touchdown, 49ers. A 77-yard touchdown pass to Jerry Rice. Boy, and it has stunned silence here in the Meadowlands.
San Francisco's shocking victory added to the excitement and anticipation that came the following week in the season home opener at Candlestick Park. But except for a few scoring plays, there wasn't that much for the 49er faithful to cheer about. Wide receiver Mike Wilson hauled in 1 scoring pass, and guard Guy McIntyre, number 62, lived the lineman's dream by catching the very first pass of his pro career for a touchdown. Unfortunately, another first of sorts occurred as the Falcons earned their first victory over the 49ers in 9 tries. Atlanta exploded to a 21-3 halftime lead and coasted the rest of the way for their initial victory of 1988. Although the defeat was unexpected and discouraging, the Niners were quick to display the resiliency that would serve them well throughout their championship season.
You're going to lose some ball games, but it's how you're going to bounce back from it. We just had lost to Atlanta, the Falcons, and we just came out, we was hungry, we wanted a win, and we went out against Seattle and really just play our best football.
At the Kingdome, perhaps the noisiest and most notorious visitors' park in the league, the 49ers defense quickly silenced the Seahawk fans by forcing 5 turnovers while holding the Seattle attack to a meager 150 total yards. San Francisco's offense was even more dominant, holding the ball for nearly 43 minutes while piling up almost 600 yards against Seattle's beleaguered defenders. Clearly, though, the 49ers' deadliest weapon was Jerry Rice.
Well, we felt like we could really get the backside post, and Joe looked front side and came backside, and I was wide open. He just pumped the ball up, and I was able to get into the end zone.
Montana back to throw. He has forever. Throws long down the middle for Rice. He's open. He's got it. Touchdown, 49ers. Do you throw it any better than that? Montana to throw. They come after him. He throws long for Rice. He's up front. He's got it. 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, 49ers.
Montana to Rice is a familiar scoring refrain to all 49er fans. But the following week against Detroit, San Francisco unveiled the latest addition to their arsenal, newly activated punt returner John Taylor.
And a good kick. Oh, he drives this one back to Taylor. Takes it at his 24. Up the middle, he comes to the 30. Break free, the 40. Big chase out front at the 50. A foot race. Touchdown, 49ers. Now welcome back, John Taylor.
It was the first score of Taylor's NFL career and would by no means be his last. Jerry Rice, no stranger to touchdowns himself, chipped in with a scoring reverse to help the Niners edge the Lions. Another key to the victory came from a second straight successful outing by San Francisco's defense. Rebuilt, retooled, and reschooled in recent seasons, new faces blended with veterans to achieve the same results as the outstanding defensive units of Super Bowls past.
Well, we like movement as far as our defense is concerned. It's important to us not only in the linebacker core, but defensive line and naturally the secondary too. So movement and intelligent play is of great importance to us and has been a strength of ours.
For years, the national impression of the 49ers consisted of sleight-of-hand magicians who'd rather sip Chablis than put up their dukes. The 1988 defense quickly shattered that image.
We're fairly offensive in our defensive thinking. We try to be attacking in our defense. The type of players that we have with their quickness and movement and the variations that we have, we try to dictate as opposed to having offenses dictate to us.
In any defense, success begins with the man in the middle. And in Michael Carter, number 95, the 49ers may have the best nose tackle in football.
I like to think of it as keeping the middle quiet, just like a hurricane, just an eye of the storm is quiet. Everything all around the perimeters of the defense, of the scheme of things, but in the middle, it's an area that a lot of teams don't like to go to.
In 1988, virtually all areas of the San Francisco defense could be considered hostile territory.
Any and every kind of defensive scheme and alignment to do any kind of confusing and, I mean, whatever it takes, you know, that's our philosophy on defense. And I think our defense is one that just doesn't give up no matter what.
In a unit of many solid performers, the 49ers' brightest star was all-pro linebacker Charles Haley.
I think the problem that Charles Haley poses on any team is that the guy gets after people. He enjoys playing the game really hard. And he's just one of those guys that when his motor's going, you can't stop him. You can't stop him.
For the third consecutive season, Haley led the team in sacks, thanks to his productive study habits.
I go through film and I watch other guys use different moves, and then I go out and practice those same moves that they use. And it's more or less of watching. I watch other people do it. and then I try to go out and perfect it too.
Soon, number 94 had the rest of the NFL watching his films. The reviews that followed predicted boffo box office for Charles Haley.
He's a great athlete. He's like your Lawrence Taylor of New York Giants, your Reggie White of Philadelphia. He's the key player on the defense that makes the whole unit run well.
The defense turned in another sturdy performance in a Week 6 duel with the Denver Broncos. For nearly 4 quarters, the defending AFC champions could not score a touchdown against San Francisco's hard-charging unit. Denver quarterback John Elway was sacked 5 times, and the 49ers secondary came up with some timely interceptions to help San Francisco cling to a slender 13-6 lead. But a late score from Elway to wide receiver Vance Johnson tied the game at 13. And then in overtime, the Broncos handed San Francisco a disturbing second home defeat in 3 tries. A Rich Karlis field goal pushed the Niners deeper into 3rd place in the NFC West. If they were to reverse their fortunes, they'd have to do it the following week against a traditional rival. To get the 49er Express back on track, the team turned to a runaway locomotive wearing number 33. Halfback Roger Craig rushed for a career-high 190 yards and 3 touchdowns as San Francisco's superback single-handedly shot down the first-place Los Angeles Rams.
So San Francisco a second time in Ram territory, but it's a draw up the middle to Craig, and he breaks loose and runs loose. He gets used to the 30, to the 25. He's down to the 20, breaks loose again. He's to the 10, 5, touchdown 49ers. Oh, what a bonanza, spectacular run by Roger Craig.
Might be the best run of his career. That's highlight reel material forever.
He runs so intense and so unlike probably anybody else in football right now that he's a very special commodity. Roger is a very fun running back for an offensive line to block for.
Craig's amazing season of 1988 stemmed from a decision he made at the end of 1987.
Where it started was I wanted to lose 15 pounds. I was weighing 225 at the time. I came in at 210, and that really helped my speed and my endurance and most of all, my conditioning. So mentally, when I came into the season, I was prepared and ready to be ready for the punishment and just to carry on at halfback. It was fun, you know, just being able to be at my natural position.
A sleeker, more compact Craig now posed even more problems for the opposition.
His strength is he'll knock you out with them knees. He kicks them so high, man. I tell you, I hate to come off the block trying to hit him. I have never hit him in his legs, and I never will. But I'll hit him in his chest, I'll hit him around his neck, I'll hit him in his head, but I'll never hit him in his legs because he has those knees up so high. Man, I'm telling you what, you can hurt yourself. You put your head down there, he can rip your head backwards.
Craig also ripped apart the 49er record book with over 1,500 rushing yards, performing in a style similar to another San Francisco legend.
It's just a characteristic of Roger's running. It's not necessarily related to some kind of practices or work that he's done on the side or in the off-season. He just has a running style that, to me, is most reminiscent of a great back of many, many years ago, Hugh McElhaney. He's a slashing type runner. So if we can develop plays in which the defenders are moving laterally, Roger starts laterally, then breaks back through that pursuit. We are taking full advantage of his ability.
Craig was also San Francisco's top receiver with 76 catches and led the league in total yards from scrimmage. At the beginning of the season, some whispered that Rodgers' role would be reduced and younger backs would eventually replace him. By year's end, Roger Craig was the most valuable player in the NFC.
I always thought Roger Craig was one of the best running backs we faced. After playing him this year, I'd have to say he's the best that I've faced this year, if not in my career. The way he is running right now is just incredible.
What makes Roger Craig so special is his heart. To me, when a person exudes that on the football field, you have to watch that. You want to see that because you're gonna get some of that. He's the type of person that gives his heart to not only himself but to his teammates, and it shows. He plays as if he has a heart of a lion.
Mike Ditka's Chicago Bears had waited for nearly a year to avenge a 41-0 Monday night massacre at the hands of San Francisco. But at the rematch, the 49ers appeared ready to pick up right where they'd left off the season before. However, Jerry Rice's quick touchdown would be the only points by the offense. It was left to the 49er defense to keep up with the Bears shot for shot. In the most intense defensive struggle of 1988, the 49ers battled but eventually lost by a point to the team they would play for a championship just 10 weeks later. More of the same loomed the following week as San Francisco faced another physical foe, the Minnesota Vikings. In this crucial game, the Niners rested Joe Montana and handed quarterback duties to Steve Young.
Young pumps, fakes, throws long out in front. It's Taylor. He has it. He will go all the way for a touchdown.
Young propelled the Niners to a 17-14 third-quarter lead. Yet when Minnesota's Rick Fenny scored in the final period, San Francisco appeared headed for their third loss in 4 weeks. Then Steve Young stepped forward and pulled off the NFL's Play of the Year.
Young, back to throw. In trouble. He's going to be sacked. No, gets away. He runs, gets away again, goes to the 40, gets away again, to the 35, cuts back at the 30, to the 20, the 50, the 10. Young is exhausted. He died. Touchdown, 49ers.
With under 2 minutes to play, Young had somehow managed to navigate through the NFL's #1 defense and score a touchdown that bordered on the miraculous. Steve Young's scramble was the game-winning score, but it failed to provide a spark for the games just ahead. Indeed, what followed was San Francisco's most difficult stretch of the year. In the Valley of the Sun, the Niners jumped to an early lead against the Cardinals, and another win seemed salted away. San Francisco boosted the score to 23-0, but then the roof caved in. Phoenix shocked San Francisco and won in the final seconds. And just when it seemed as if matters could not get worse, the 49ers were embarrassed at home by the Los Angeles Raiders. L.A. erected a brick wall of silver and black, and nothing the Niners tried could knock it down. San Francisco's record skidded to 6-5, and throughout the Bay Area, doomsayers predicted a sorry end to 49er playoff hopes. But in these dire moments, the team somehow managed to keep from breaking apart.
At first, we looked inwardly at ourselves, wondering what is wrong here, and certainly our local press did. But as we came out of it, we looked around and saw virtually everyone else in football having a downside of their season. And hopefully ours came at a point from which we could recover, where in some cases people hit it just toward the end of the year and couldn't recover. Now, we have our problems. We've had bad days, there's no question about it. But overall, we've been a good, solid team that's been able to live with the ebb and flow of a season so that at the end of the year, we're developing momentum while some others might have been faltering.
On a Monday night in late November, the 1988 49ers came of age and turned their season around. Against the defending world champion Washington Redskins, San Francisco began their championship march, ignited by the longest punt return in team history.
Back to the 5-yard line, taken by Taylor. Comes to the near side, now tries to go back the other side, is pulled down, gets away, goes to the 10, stumbles at 15, jumps over man at the 20. He's out in front at the 50, the 40, the 30, 20, 10. Touchdown 49ers. A magnificent return by John Taylor.
If Taylor's 95-yard run back stunned the Redskins, then Joe Montana's timely touchdowns served as the knockout blows.
Montana's going to throw for Rice in front. Got it. It will be a touchdown for the 49ers. Rice caught it, juggled it, and goes 80 yards for the touchdown.
The rested and rejuvenated Montana added a touchdown of his own to close out the year's most pivotal victory. But the scoring explosion was far from finished. A week later in San Diego, the Niners rang up their largest point total of the season and closed within a game of the division lead. Running behind the blocking of center Randy Cross, guards Jesse Sapolu and Guy McIntyre, and tackles Steve Wallace and Harris Barton, San Francisco's backs rolled up over 200 yards rushing and scored 4 touchdowns. Running the ball is always easier with a deep passing threat like Jerry Rice to draw coverage. And Rice certainly attracted attention with 2 big touchdown catches, including the longest play from scrimmage in 49er history.
Back to throw Montana. Out in front is Rice. He is there. He's got it. He's at the 40. It'll be a touchdown for the 49ers. 96 yards.
Where he's matured is that he realized that he can play hurt, he can play and do various things on the football field just instead of just catching touchdown passes. I think the one thing that makes Jerry great is that he can dominate a game without catching the ball. His presence alone does a lot to put fear in other teams' defenses.
No matter the climate, any temperature seems perfect for this rice to cook.
I knew what Jerry was going to do from the first time he ran a route. For some reason, his body language told me what he was going to do. He doesn't tell anyone else, I can tell. The defensive guys have no idea, but for a quarterback, for some reason, he's someone that you really have an understanding where he's headed, and it makes your timing that much better. You can get him the ball much quicker because you know where he's going.
The league's MVP the year before, Rice was slowed by nagging injuries in '88, but still could make his presence felt.
Well, I had a knee injury back in '87. This year I had an ankle, and I was out about, I would say about 6 weeks, and I was not Jerry Rice. I couldn't get 100%, but I still wanted to play because I felt like if I was in there, it was going to take some of the pressure off Roger, and they had to respect me.
We've got things in Roger Craig and Jerry Rice we didn't have in the past. And when you've got lightning from two positions that can strike at any time, it's not only dangerous for a defense, it's absolutely inspiring for an offensive lineman because there's nothing better than a one-play drive.
It was no accident that Rice's return to good health coincided with San Francisco's late-season surge, a string that continued in a Week 14 rematch with the Falcons. And once more, Jerry Rice provided enough offense to put the 49ers on top. The stifling defense of Fagan, Roberts, Stubbs, Holt, Walter, Fonhorst, Ellison, Romanowski, McKyer, Wright, Griffin, and Fuller held the Falcons to just 3 points, San Francisco's stingiest performance of 1988. And eventual NFC scoring champ Mike Kofer added a pair of field goals to send San Francisco home to a head-to-head duel for the division lead. Deadlock for first in the NFC West, the Saints and Niners both knew that the winner would have the inside track to the division title. But San Francisco moved quickly to establish control of the game, proving to upstart New Orleans that their turn at the top would have to wait another day. San Francisco sent the Saints packing in impressive fashion, while wrapping up an unequaled 6th straight trip to the playoffs in the 1980s.
Montana back to throw, steps up, throws, has Taylor wide open, 45, 40, in front, 30, 20, touchdown, 49ers!
The Niners soon went from playoff participants to division champs. Earlier action the following week helped wrap up San Francisco's 3rd division title in a row and 5th in 6 years. The results lessened the impact of the final regular season game against the Rams, a game LA desperately needed to make the playoffs themselves. The 49ers, having already clinched, showed only flashes of brilliance, but it wasn't nearly enough to beat a determined opponent. The inspired Rams did what was necessary to earn the victory. This final loss could not detract from the late-season excellence of Joe Montana, for a decade the best clutch quarterback in pro football, and the catalyst of San Francisco's 1988 turnaround.
Over the years, it's never been a more competitive, a more complete quarterback at understanding our offense and understanding the game itself than Joe Montana.
Joe's a real pro, a true professional, and he's played in his 10th year. He's had his experiences with injuries. He's had to battle through a lot of things, but he's persisted and he's survived, and he continues to be one of the very best in football.
Montana has achieved every meaningful goal to which a pro quarterback aspires. He is the NFL's all-time top-ranked passer, has set numerous records, and won the biggest of games. But in 1988, many wondered how long he could continue. Spotty performances, injuries, fatigue, and competition from reserve quarterback Steve Young might have disheartened or discouraged others. But Joe Montana thrived on the challenge.
I've been a competitor as long as I can remember at everything, on and off the field. And I think most of the guys in the NFL, you have to be a fierce competitor to be able to last in the game.
Joe has lasted and flourished, and when crunch time comes, Montana is always prepared.
He's like a great racehorse. A great racehorse knows when it's a Kentucky Derby. They know when it's important. They know for some reason there's a lot of money on the line. And you put Joe Montana in a big game, I don't care if you've had him in an isolation cell for 10 days before that, he'll go out on that field and he'll know it's important and he'll play good.
Joe Montana, a champion, and unquestionably the greatest quarterback of his generation. San Francisco's decade-long success has all come during the tenure of Bill Walsh. He has coached longer and won more games than anyone else in 49er history. But it took many seasons of apprenticeship in high school, college, and the pros before he was able to implement his unique vision of the game.
I think that was the most fortunate thing that life dealt to me, because over those years that I worked for other people, Paul Brown as an example, I developed the skills necessary to become a head coach. Fortunately, time passed and the maturity took hold, and the wisdom and the knowledge, so that when I did have an opportunity, I made the most of it.
His style, speech, and incredible record have prompted some to give Bill Walsh a label with which he is not entirely comfortable.
I know he resents being called a genius because he doesn't look upon himself as a genius, but he knows what he's doing better than anybody else does.
Well, if you got a choice, go that way. Yeah, because then if he misses the tackle, you can step through his tackle, you're by yourself. When you come underneath, you got all the pursuit coming back toward you.
I think Bill's very demanding as a coach. He's a stickler for details. He's a perfectionist.
Woo! Pretty, pretty. And that will be a beauty.
He knows when to put the pressure on and when to try to ease the tension. And you can go back to the first Super Bowl where we got off the bus and he was acting as a bellman.
We call ADX hook again, and they got bumping one on Dwight. We just have Dwight want a full-speed slant.
I think Bill Walsh has the great talent of being able to pick out a weakness on a defense and attack it in a relentless, merciless fashion. He is almost vicious in his approach. Not a vicious person, not meant in a negative way, but Bill Walsh will concentrate on your weakness and kill you.
Carrying out his master strategies are outstanding athletes who have committed themselves to Walsh's design for winning and brought it to life.
You have to have a lot of great players that believe in themselves, and I think we have that. I think the players like the Joe Montanas, the Keena Turners, that have been through it before, that understand that you have to play up to a certain standard. I think that's what's probably the one thing that I'll remember about the 49ers, that we started in the 80s a standard that we had to play up to. That standard was only the 49ers standard, and that we didn't concern ourselves about other football teams.
The 49ers standard, a standard unmatched in the 1980s. It has been a decade of mighty men and magic moments, years of achievement that began in 1980, when a young and rebuilding 49er team stormed back from a 35-7 deficit against the Saints in what became the greatest comeback in NFL history.
The 25. Montana to place the ball down. It is high, placed down. It's kicked. It is long enough. It is good! The greatest comeback the 49ers have made as they win it by a score of 38-35.
A year later, the 6-10 team improved to 13-3, best in the league, thanks to a youthful defense that started 3 rookies in its secondary. Their efforts helped San Francisco to a division title. And in the NFC Championship against the Dallas Cowboys, the Niners won in the final seconds on a play all fans refer to simply as the catch.
Montana rolling out the right, looking toward the end zone, throwing under pressure, throws his pass, caught by Clark. Clark got a touchdown. Dwight Clark has it. It's a touchdown for the 49ers.
The whirlwind season ended in blustery Detroit, where the 49ers won their first world championship, beating the Cincinnati Bengals 26-21 on the strength of a well-conceived offense and the greatest goal line stand in Super Bowl history.
Here's Montana throwing toward the end zone, caught on the run by Cooper. He's got him. He's in the end zone. A 49er touchdown. The 49ers have won it. Bill Walsh and his staff beating the AFC champion Cincinnati Bengals in the Super Bowl.
Three years later in Palo Alto, perhaps the finest 49er team ever assembled capped off the 1984 season with a clinical demolition of Miami, crushing the Dolphins 38-16. At Super Bowl 19, Bill Walsh took his second victory ride of the 80s, hoisted on the shoulders of some of the decade's greatest players. Like the old Hollywood studios, San Francisco possessed more stars than there are in the heavens. The 49ers, men of skill, determination, and heart. And during this decade, no team has won more games or more division crowns, scored more points, or appeared in more conference titles. As they entered the 1988 playoffs, San Francisco had a chance to accomplish something even greater, their third world championship.
When you think of the 70s, you think of the Steelers. Right at this point, you think of the 80s, there's the 49ers, there's the Redskins, there's the Raiders, but this will be the last Super Bowl of the 80s. And if we can lay our third one on it, it'd be very important to me.
The 49ers' first playoff opponent would be Minnesota, the same Vikings who had upset San Francisco in postseason a year before. On this day, there would be no upset. In 3 previous playoff games, Jerry Rice had been kept out of the end zone. Against Minnesota, Rice burned the Vikings with 3 touchdown catches before halftime.
Montana, back to throws, touchdown, 49ers, Jerry Rice.
The quick 21-3 San Francisco advantage was no accident. The 49ers, frequently and unfairly called football's finesse team, flexed their muscles, dominating both lines of scrimmage. The highly regarded Vikings were manhandled and manipulated, shoved out of the way and pushed off the dance floor. While Minnesota's attack sputtered and stopped, San Francisco sliced through the opposition for better than 200 rushing yards. Fullback Tom Rathman blocked well and ran even better. And in the final quarter, backfield mate Roger Craig punctuated the rout with the longest run of his life.
A give to Craig, first down, first through 30, to the 40, being chased at the 50, the 40, the 30, the 20, and touchdown 49ers. 80 yards.
The final result wrapped up the 100th victory of Bill Walsh's NFL coaching career. But in the winning locker room, Joe Montana threw down the gauntlet for the team's next challenge.
Teams that have beaten another team by a big margin have come back the next week and played terrible. And that is not going to happen to this ball club. I ain't bullshit. We've opened the door. We're going to go through it next week, and we're going to kick ass and take no prisoners the week after. That's right.
This afternoon from frigid, windswept Soldier Field in Chicago, it's the NFC Championship game as the San Francisco 49ers meet the Chicago Bears. Temperature about 17 degrees, wind chill factor minus 26 degrees.
And another thing that's going to be a factor in this one is whether the receivers can hold onto the ball if the quarterbacks can get it to them. It's going to be a little cold.
Montana on third down, back to throw. They rush. He steps up. He throws. Has Rice open. He makes the catch. He gets away at the 40. It's a foot race. 30. They won't catch him. It's touchdown 49er.
Rice's explosive 61-yard touchdown shocked Chicago with its speed and design. Then the 49er defense bloodied the Bears with its strength and muscle.
Time now being chased out of the pocket, being chased by Pearsall. Throws. It should be intercepted. It is by Fuller. Picked off by Fuller at the 36-yard line. A blitz showing by the Bears. Montana back to throw. He throws. He has Rice. He's got it. Touchdown 49ers. They beat the Bears blitz. Bestie Jackson on single coverage on Rice on a slant in, and Rice had him beat by 2 steps as they were 5 yards downfield. Rice was open all the way. You know that Montana's eyes lit up immediately when he saw that. Rice was open from the start on that play.
As night fell and temperatures plummeted, the big chill of Chicago still failed to bother the Californians. If any 49er was freezing, he was quickly warmed by the red-hot San Francisco offense and the blazing spirit of Joe Montana.
Montana back to throw. Rolling out, looking, throwing, touchdown 49ers. He hits John. Great protection there, keep it up.
First and goal from the 5. Montana gives to Rathman. Rathman drives for the end zone. Touchdown 49ers.
As the final moments ticked away, San Francisco delivered one last message to the fading monsters of the Midway.
In motion, Brad Mustard to the near side of McMahon, takes on a delay, gives to Sanders, cutting to the left, fumbles the football. It's up for grabs at the 50-yard line. The San Francisco 49ers appear to have it covered near the midfield marker, and it is San Francisco football to the 49-yard line of Chicago. I think nails are being placed in coffins here.
Miami, here we go.
Clock winding down, and both teams are going to head off. The San Francisco 49ers are heading to Miami to take on the Cincinnati Bengals. They are champions of the NFC in convincing fashion, 28-3 over the Chicago Bears.
On the coldest day in January, the finesse-ass 49ers will come in the backyard of the Bears and kick ass.
San Francisco had conquered the cold and their own playoff past to secure the NFC title, but their final challenge would secure them a place in NFL history. Shaped by Bill Walsh's concepts and led by a quarterback who could put these ideas into action, the San Francisco 49ers were poised and confident.
Everyone must have a ticket. Have a great stay here in Miami.
Bengal head coach Sam Wyche had transformed a 4-11 band of forgotten men into AFC champions, and more importantly, had replenished their self-respect. A third Super Bowl win would make San Francisco the team of the decade. A Bengals win would fulfill a season-long dream for Cincinnati.
Governmental health lives are safety left. Move L2. Time it up now. Ready? Run.
Two-time Super Bowl MVP Joe Montana, NFC Player of the Year Roger Craig, and the absolutely uncoverable Jerry Rice. San Francisco's talented trio against Cincinnati's punishing rookie Ickey Woods. In the first half of Super Bowl 23, it was the 49ers' galaxy of stars that shined most brilliantly. Like comets, they streaked across wide-open skies, only to crash back to earth.
Third down, a give to Craig on a sweep. He's the 40, 45, 50, 45, fumbles the ball, and the Bengals have it, I think, at the 41-yard line.
So Johnson will
2 Super Bowl records were set on one play, as Lee Johnson's record 63-yard punt was brought back by John Taylor for a record 45 yards.
The 10, he picks it up, gets away from a man, gets away from another, gets away from another, comes to the 30, he has a man on a run, he's at the 40, he cuts back at the 50.
Cincinnati couldn't match their opponent's big play for big play, but they eagerly matched them hit for hit. The Niners settled for a 3-3 halftime tie because none of their big plays ended in the end zone. The trend continued in the second half.
Rolling out has time, and intercepted by the 49ers.
Bill Romanowski's interception produced only a field goal, and later Jerry Rice's acrobatic reception brought oohs and ahs, but no points. While San Francisco jabbed and danced, Stanford Jennings delivered the haymaker.
30, look out, he'll go on, he's gone. It'll be a 97-yard touchdown run for Stanford Jennings.
Great teams aren't great all the time. They're just great when they have to be. But even the greatest of teams need a little luck. Number 24, Lewis Phillips, let Montana off the hook, and Joe burnt him on the very next play.
Montana is back to throw. Quick pass for Rice. Got it out of bounds. Touchdown, 49ers.
Trailing by 3 points with 3:10 left, San Francisco needed Joe Montana to drive them 92 yards to win. 70 million thought he could. 10 others in the huddle knew he would.
There's a lot staring them in the face. Montana throws over the middle, completes it to Craig. Craig is to the 16. Joe back to throw, steps up, throws out here for Rice. He has it at midfield, goes out of bounds at about the 46.
2nd and 20, dire straits, even for the decade's winningest team.
Second down. 49ers have to go to the 25 for a first down. They're at the 45. Montana back to throw. Throws over the middle. A fine catch by Rice. Rice into the 20. He's down to the 19. Another brilliant catch by Jerry Rice.
Whether it happens now or not, to watch Joe Montana do this and to watch this absolute surgeon on the football field and one of the all-time greats do his thing again, it's almost like poetry.
At the 10-yard line, 39 seconds remaining. Back to throw Montana. Steps up, throws. Jerry Rice in motion from right to left. A couple guys followed Rice. One man was on Taylor. He ran a post pattern and Montana hit him in stride.
In Super Bowl 23, the San Francisco 49ers once again scaled the heights of football greatness and stood alone at the summit.
And the 49ers have won the Super Bowl. The 49ers with 3 Super Bowl victories in the 1980s as they win it on a brilliant 98-yard drive, 20-16.
A team of young men filled with promise, old veterans filled with pride, and a coach whose vision of perfection is now part of history.
And one that may signify the end of Bill Walsh's career as he and Sam Weiss walk off the field together.
The 1988 49ers are an honor to the team's glorious past and the world champions of pro football's present. The team of the decade.
Listen up. I said it last night, baby, we was going to play with our hearts and we was going to look at each other after this game and look at our hearts. And Steve Wallace left his heart out there today. Left his heart out there today. Everybody sold out this week. Everybody. Damn, it's great, isn't it? You
got 11. Hold up.
Say thank you to all the defensive guys, this entire team. I couldn't feel better about a group of fellas ever. Just thanks. I mean, winning the Super Bowl. It's the way to do it. Thanks, guys.
Hey, I want to say, whoever came up with the phrase, it ain't over till it's over.
This is a tough moment in a way because was this the final game on the sideline for a great coach, Bill Walsh? Emotional moment right now with the coach down here inside the locker room, Jack.
I knew you had it all the way.
And this might be a career for Bill Walsh.
Well, we're not sure yet. We'll make whatever announcements we have to make at some other point.
Bill, if you do leave, I want you to know that every one of us is going to miss you. You have done a fabulous job with this football team, and never more so than in the final seconds here today.
That's great.
All right.